YouTube, good morning. RevanX here. With the recent release of Spider-Man No Way Home, on stream the other day, we decided to do a Spider-Man movie tier list. So the following video is me making my Spider-Man tier list. So please like and comment. If you dislike, go ahead, dislike it. But let me know in the comments what your tier list looks like. We're going to be doing a Spider-Man rankings in the future. But hey, make sure you enjoy the video, okay? Spider-Man tier list, we included all the Spider-Man movies, all the Spider-Verse movies. So it's including Venom, Into the Spider-Verse. So please enjoy the video. Hit that thumbs up. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. All right? I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next one, okay? Spider-Man tier list, chat. They have upcoming ones. They're going to add Morbius and Across the Spider-Verse to this. But right now, it's the all three Tobey movies, I think, right? Yeah. Tobey, Andrew, Tom, Into the Spider-Verse, Venom. Okay. So we've got them all. They're going to include all the others as well. But we're going to do this right now. Excuse me. I don't know how we zoom. Is there a way to zoom, chat? Nope. I don't know if there's a way to zoom. If you guys know, tell me. So Spider-Man tier list. Again, those of you just joining in, if you have not seen No Way Home yet, guys, and you do not want it spoiled for you, when we get to No Way Home, it's right here, and we're actually going to save it for last. Mute the channel, okay? Mute the stream. You guys will see where I place it on the list, but if you don't want us to spoil it for you, because we will probably talk spoilers as to why I'm explaining where it is, mute the stream. Because if you guys don't want it spoiled, that would be why. But you'll see where we'll put it, and then hopefully that excites you. But if you don't care about it, you don't care. In terms of it getting spoiled. We should go in order, right? We should go in order. So like Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, Amazing Spider-Man 2, No Way Home, Far From Home, Into the Spider-Verse, Venom, and then No Way Home. Okay. All right. Spider-Man tier list, guys. Again, if you have not seen No Way Home, please mute the stream. Once we get to No Way Home, it will be the last one. If you do not want it spoiled for you, because we will talk spoilers to explain why it is where it is in the stream. Bow wow, what's up, homie? Exclamation point. What's up, bro? How are you? God, 11 months, man. Almost been following a year, dude. Holy cow, that's crazy, bro. Well, welcome back, Bow Wow. Good to see you, bro. All right, Spider-Man tier list. If you guys do not want it spoiled for you, please mute the stream once we get to No Way Home, okay? All right, let's get started. I would zoom in, but I don't know how to zoom in. Tired? I feel you, man. All right, Spider-Man 1. 9 months. God, it's Glado. You've been following 9 months? Boy, time flies, doesn't it? Crazy. All right, Spider-Man 1, the first Spider-Man movie, not counting the 80s movie, with this one with Tobey Maguire. Probably, this was not my first superhero movie. This was my first Marvel movie that I saw in theaters. I was 7 when this movie came out in 2002. I'm going to go A tier. Spider-Man 1. Tobey Maguire, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. Absolutely goated Green Goblin. Absolutely goated Willem Dafoe. This is an A tier movie for me. Let me know what it is for you, but this is an A tier movie for me because it was my first Marvel movie. Not my first superhero movie, but my first Marvel movie. My first Marvel superhero movie. And this is what really got me involved. I was 7 at the time. This really got me involved into Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel movie ever. Sorry, my favorite Marvel character ever. Just because I grew up like loving Spider-Man, and especially when I got into high school, I really was able to like not like connect to him because he's kind of a dorky character, and I guess I never really felt dorky in high school. I was a dork, but also I wasn't a dork. I did so much. I hung out with so many different people, groups of people. I never really like felt like I ever got bullied. You know what I mean? I never really got bullied in high school like Peter Parker does. So I wasn't able to connect with, I'm something of a scientist myself. I was never able to connect with Peter on that level, but I was able to connect with Peter on the level of age and just the struggles of high school and life. You know what I mean? And I love, and it's like you get the connection with the late great Stan Lee, R.I.P. to Stan Lee. He exactly. I was kind of in with all the cliques. Like I hung out with the kids that kind of hung out by themselves and played Yu-Gi-Oh and played card games and Pokemon. I hung out with those kids. I hung out with the football players because I was a football player. I hung out with what you would call the preps, the ones that didn't do sports or would play like tennis. And their families had lifetime memberships to the. I hung out with all those kids just because I didn't really have a clique. I dressed kind of like a jock. I had athletic shorts and lifting and football t-shirts. Like that was what I wore to school. But again, I never felt bullied because I hung out with everybody, you know, and so I could never really resonate with him on that part. But he was my first Marvel movie, which is why he's A tier. It's not the best son of a gun. It's not the best Spider-Man movie, but it is definitely the one that when I think Spider-Man, first movie that always pops into my head is Spider-Man 1, even though it is not, I do think, favorite. And One shorts. The And One shorts, yes. And One shorts, Jumpman, the Jordan shorts. Mm-hmm. Always. So Spider-Man 1, A tier. And again, your guys's movie list might be different than mine, because I definitely do think Spider-Man movies resonate with each crowd and each age group differently, you know. So oh darn, I was gonna put these in order. Hold on, they were in order. And then Amazing Spider-Man, Homecoming, on the end. Okay, I think they're in. Okay. I will say this though. I love the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and on rewatch, I love them even more. But yeah, we'll get there. Okay. And this is not a ranking. This is a tier list. We'll do a ranking at some point. Especially after I make this list, I'll be able to kind of look at them and see where my rankings would be at. But we'll do a ranking at some point. We're going to usually try and do tier lists first, and then we'll do rankings. So Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire, Doc Ock, Alfred Molina. You haven't seen the second Amazing Spider-Man movie? We might have to do a watch party in Discord. Spider-Man 2, Alfred Molina, Tobey Maguire. Boom! This is an S-tier Spider-Man film. S-tier Spider-Man film. This is one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. This is one of the best superhero movies ever made. And I think, again, it resonates with people of different age groups. But this movie, the from everything from Alfred Molina's Doc Ock to I lost my train of thought. To the train scene, just the fight scenes in general, the ending, the connection. Now, MJ to me is the weakest part of these films. I like Kirsten Dunst. I don't really like her MJ, if you know what I mean. But I feel like the story with her and Toby was perfect in this movie. Like the growth of the characters, and definitely S tier. Yes, Spooderman 2. I think my only gripe about this film is the only gripe I have about this film is, yeah, I'm not a fan of her MJ. I grew up with Toby's film, but I still think Andrew's were better. Right. I'm gonna get to those. I have my like my description on the Amazing Spider-Man films. You'll see where I'm at with those. But yeah, Spider-Man 2. Just my only gripe about Spider-Man 2 is the I think when he loses his powers in Spider-Man 2, he's it goes on a little too long. You know, I feel like it shouldn't have been as long as it was, because I think he doesn't have his powers for a good hour of that movie. But I love seeing him really like dive into being just Peter Parker, like Dr. Connors, all that stuff. Like I love all of that. So I would definitely say Spider-Man 2 is an S-tier Spider-Man film. It is one of the best. It is one of the most remembered. Like I said, I do think that his when he has no powers, it goes on for a little bit too long, but definitely the strengths of this movie definitely outweigh the negatives. But also, it was the first Marvel movie I saw in theaters that made me go, whoa. You know what I mean? Just perfect Spider-Man movie. Very good Spider-Man movie. Yo, Blake, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. How are you? Andrew is still my favorite. I love how all the people who gave me crap are now saying he needs to come back. I know. Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield, to me, is my favorite Spider-Man just because I was in high school when his movies came out. So I was able to resonate with his Spider-Man. Because his first movie came out in 2012, and that was when I was a sophomore in high school, so I connected to him instantly. And I just felt like his Peter Parker connected to me more, because he wasn't as like nerdy as Tobey's was. But what I love about it is I think he's my favorite Spider-Man. Hello there, CT. How are you, man? Welcome in. CT152, how are you? Welcome in. Hello there. Only OGs remember when Revy streamed SWOTOR. When Revy streamed SWOTOR. We might get back into it. Not sure yet. I'm back. Smashes the roof of a car after falling off the building. I'm back. my back. Bully Maguire. It's pizza time. It's pizza time. Spider-Man 3 is the best for Bully Maguire. Spider-Man 3 is definitely not the best Spider-Man movie, but Bully Maguire is pretty good. It's pretty entertaining. I'm great, CT. How have you been? Good to see you, my man. But yes, we're getting there. I think Andrew is my favorite Spider-Man movie. Is my favorite Spider-Man. Tobey is the best Peter Parker. I think Andrew is the best Spider-Man. Comic comparison wise, and I think Tom is the best combination of the two, in my opinion. But my favorite Spider-Man is Andrew, just personal preference. Son of a gun! Losing my cool, guys. Okay, move these back. Sorry. Move it to the end. And that one. Okay. Right. I'll get into this in just a sec. The dude watched his girlfriend's skull get cracked. He didn't watch it. He just made a mistake in trying to in choosing how he caught her. Been a roller coaster, but for the most part, good. Hey, listen, my uncle but skinny. That's the point. He's supposed to be kind of like the like an uncle. Thank you, Sclotto, for popping in the Discord. Raleigh, we'll get to that in a second. Coachy Coach, what's up, Daddy Coach Thickness? And CT, if you join the Discord and you want to talk about what's kind of been going on, message me, man. DM me. I'll talk. I'll respond. Yeah, it is a little horrible there, Liam. Damn, brother. Okay, Spider-Man 3. And again, just warn you guys, when we get to No Way Home, if you guys haven't seen it and you guys don't want it spoiled for you, mute the stream, because I will probably talk spoilers to explain some stuff. But if you don't want it spoiled, mute the stream. But if you don't care, leave it open. Please follow the socials, guys. Would love to have you join. Shit, I meant to do go live stuff, but nah, doesn't matter. Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire, the last Tobey Maguire movie, Venom, Sandman, the Gwen Stacy, D tier. This is the worst Spider-Man movie. And I think with this being the worst Spider-Man movie, in my opinion, to back up Ian, that was pretty funny. Spider-Man 3 is a D-tier Spider-Man movie. Let me explain. Sam Raimi got weird, dude. Sam Raimi got weird with this movie. Topher Grace is not Eddie Brock. He was a terrible Eddie Brock. The design for their Venom was awful. It was an awful Venom design. The action was good. I thought Peter Parker was stupid in this movie. The best part of Peter Parker in this whole movie was the ending, because it was very Peter Parker-esque, like when he lost his best friend and all that. Like, it was very Peter Parker-esque. But the best part about Peter Parker in this movie was Bully Maguire. Was when the black suit ruined him, like turned him dark and goth. Like, it's the most memeable Spider-Man movie. You'll get your rent when you fix this damn door. Like, it's very memeable, but it's not the best. It's not a good Spider-Man movie. It's not a good Spider-Man. The black suit is sick. Emo, not goth. It's a D-tier Spider-Man movie. Bad writing. The villains were terrible. The villains were awful. And it was awful. You need to watch the first Amazing Spider-Man. Him dancing was sick. His dancing was pretty good. Was pretty funny. So Andrew's Peter is based on a combination of a few of the better Spidey comics, in my opinion. So, in my honest opinion, he is the best. Tom being second, Toby third. Oh no, I know. Andrew's Peter is based off a lot of versions, but it's not the versions that I'm like my favorite comic versions, which is why I think Toby is the best Peter. But Andrew is definitely the best Spider-Man. Tom is a good combination of the three, but my favorite Spider-Man is Andrew. I just like his better. The fact that, we'll talk about it. We'll get to it and we'll talk about it. Toby's symbiote suit was sick. Just wait until we see Tom's symbiote suit. I think it's going to be freaking amazing. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Instagram, but the No Way Home artists made their own rendition of what they think it would look like. Whoa, so cool. Sandman was all right. Sandman was okay. I thought Thomas Hayden Church did a pretty good job. Pretty good rendition of him. I like Sandman. I partially like New Goblin, but I hated their Venom. Venom was terrible. The New Goblin was... I just don't like James Franco. We're not going to get into James Franco at all, but yeah, they just didn't like it. Neil Patrick Harris, Toby Tom. Yeah. It's a lot. You forgot the Drake Bell Spider-Man. He didn't want to put Venom in the movie, but Sony made him, right? He was supposed to be in the ending of the movie, and then they cut it. He was supposed to be in the final fight or show up in the final fight, but they cut it, and Sony still wanted them in it. So they made the end credit scene with him to kind of to tease the symbiote. But again, we'll get into that. He is, but I don't. We're not going to get into that. There's a reason he is. If you join the Discord, guys, we can kind of talk about that in like Marvel chat. But yeah, no, he's canceled, and he's canceled for good reason. Both James Franco and Drake Bell. Japanese Spider-Man was fire. I'm not saying he wasn't. He was in there. Yuri? Is that the one you brought up? Oh, no. I thought Shinji Toto was in there. Never mind. Oh, yeah. You know why. Yeah, just look it up. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Okay. Amazing Spider-Man 2. The first Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew. So this is the first movie with Andrew, guys. Drake Bell's isn't the same reason, but Drake Bell's isn't as bad, but it's bad. It's still bad. Oh, right. No, you're right, Rolly. Yeah. Yes, Drake Bell from Drake and Josh. He did some dumb shit. All right, we're not going to get into that. The Amazing Spider-Man. A-tier movie. The Amazing Spider-Man is an A-tier Spider-Man movie. A-tier. The Amazing Spider-Man, first movie, Andrew Garfield, A-tier movie. Here's why. I was able to connect with this Spider-Man way more than any other superhero movie I've ever seen. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man took place when he was in high school. He was, I think, sophomore or junior in high school. I was around the same age. I was 16, 17 years old when this movie came out. I just resonated with it, man. And, God, just... Andrew embodies Spider-Man. Like, here's the thing. Tom has animated eyes that move up and down to show expression. Andrew's don't do that. But, dude, he doesn't need it. He's able to make that... Yo, CT, thanks for the lurk, brother. Thank you for the lurk, my man. He's able to show emotion with his face covered better than I've ever seen anyone do. His suit in the first movie is not my favorite suit that he has. His second movie suit is way better than his first one. The eyes are the best. But he's able to be so animated. Like, I love the design of his suits. They're just the shiny, the ruggedness. You feel the emotion in his voice, his mannerisms. He's super eccentric. It's exactly what you would expect from a Spider-Man. His acting was top notch. Andrew is a great actor. And you like I said, I was his age. I mean, Andrew was almost 25, 26 years old when they made the movie, but he was playing a 16, 17-year-old kid. I felt that. He wasn't afraid to stand up to bullies. Like, Tobey's was kind of afraid to stand up to bullies, and he got bullied. Andrews wasn't afraid to stand up to bullies. He was kind of a tough kid who still got bullied, but he stood up to them. You know what I mean? It took being bit by the spider for Tobey to do it. So he played kind of the timid Peter until he got his powers. But Andrew was kind of a tough kid. He tried to be a tough kid. But like there's things that his movies lack, but I understand why they lack them. Like not having J. Jonah Jameson be involved in his movies. That was just a story decision because he was already in the last 3 movies, and this movie, a lot of people I don't think these movies got as much love as they deserved because they just came out, like it was just a quick turnaround. There was supposed to be a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey. It got canceled really quick. It was supposed to have Mysterio, got canceled super quick, and then switched, and then literally, what was it? It came out in 2007. Spider-Man 4 was being worked on. It was about 2009. They canceled it. Around 2010, they made the announcement, and then 2012, Andrew's movie came out, and I think they made the announcement that they were going to make a new Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield and Mark Webb, and I think it was within 6 months of them canceling Spider-Man 4, and yeah, it just got pushed back. Glacius! Yo! Glacius, my man. I don't know if there's any other active mods in chat right now, but Glacius, my dude. I need to give you a shout-out, brother. How are you, my man? Welcome in. Yes, we're doing a Spider-Man tier list, brother, man. But yes, The Amazing Spider-Man, A-tier movie for me. The bridge scene with the Lizard. I thought the Lizard was a good villain. I think Reese Ifans did a great job. Dr. Connors, the backstory for his Peter. Granted, I don't think we necessarily need all of it, but the stuff with his parents is very interesting and something that's never been done before. So the backstory was kind of cool. Yeah, I just thought it was a very good Spider-Man movie. It's A-tier solely because it was a very good Spider-Man movie. Not as good as OG Spider-Man. In my opinion, I like OG Spider-Man because Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin just makes it that much better. But his Spider-Man movie is top-notch. And it's because I was able to resonate with it. Fancy seeing you here. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Oh, Gwen Stacy also. Forgot to mention. Gwen Stacy's amazing. Emma Stone. Oh, so good. Amazing Spider-Man 2. B tier. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a B tier Spider-Man movie. B tier Spider-Man movie. After rewatching all of these, it used to be like C, D tier for me. It's not a great movie. It's definitely not as good as the first one. But it's fun, man. His suit is amazing. It's the best Spider-Man suit I've seen. It's the best Spider-Man suit. And it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun. The villains, I'm not trolling. The only reason I have it here, it's not a great movie. But for me, for my tier list, I have so much fun. I have way more fun watching Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 than I do some of these other movies. Which is why I have it here. It's why it's here. It would probably be C tier if I didn't have some of these other movies in this list, and you'll see why. But I have it here for a particular reason. And that main reason is it's a fun movie for me. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is A tier for you. Loved it, but the last fourth was weak. Yeah, okay, I agree with you. But I don't think I would have it A tier. I don't necessarily think I have it A tier. And the reason why it falls... B to B tier for me is because even though it is one of the most fun movies I've seen, it's just fun. The the fight in Square, New York City Square. The fight in the city with Electro, crazy cool. I thought the visuals of Electro's powers were dope. Electro was stupid. The weakest part of this movie is the villains. That's the weakest part. I liked the portrayal of Electro. I did not like Electro himself, like his look, his physical look. Yeah, I know. It was obvious, but still though. Her death was a beautiful scene. It was beautifully shot. God, Andrew's emotions is insane. Insane. The Goblin, Harry Osborn, was a good Harry Osborn. But becoming the Green Goblin in the end, stupid, man. It was stupid. I hated it. But my thing is, though, that she was, her death was perfect. It was a beautiful scene. It was well shot, and it was key for Andrew Spider-Man's character development, the way they were going to go before his movies got canceled and the deal with Marvel went through. His acting alone should put it above Spider-Man 2. You have it higher, Rolly? Do you have it higher? Is it too low on mine for you? His acting is top-notch. The reason why Spider-Man 2 is up there is because Spider-Man 2, I have to be in the right mood to put on The Amazing Spider-Man 2 just because it is emotional. And the fact that Harry Osborn's villain, the Green Goblin, and the Rhino part at the beginning was annoying. And Electro kind of Electro's visuals just irritate me. But I don't ever have to be in the right mood to watch Spider-Man 2. I can just watch it. But The Amazing Spider-Man, the suit, the eyes, everything about his performance was perfect. The movie is incredibly fun. It's just a fun movie to watch. Puts it a B tier for me. It puts it at a B tier for me. I enjoy the movie. It's a fun movie, but the villains suck. Like that's the only thing about it is the villains suck. Yeah, that's pretty much what I can say. I mean, the villains suck. That's the worst part about the movie. Story's great, acting's great, love story's great. Gwen's death in the end, fantastic, very well shot. That's just kind of my opinion on it. Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with it. It's just, I don't know. That's just kind of how I feel about it, you know? Yeah. Yeah. The rankings look better, I promise you. When I rank these movies from like 1 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. When I rank these movies from 1 to 11, and we'll do that eventually, it looks better than the tier list. Tier lists look worse than they should be. Right. No, I agree. I don't disagree with you. Mark Webb made some questionable decisions in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But again, one of the other big reasons why it got canceled was then that because it was Andrew wanted to leave. Andrew was dipping out because of that. And so then Sony reached out to Marvel, made the deal. Boom. Spider-Man's in the MCU, recasting Spider-Man for the MCU. That was kind of how it all fell apart. But hashtag make The Amazing Spider-Man 3. I just can't get past Tobey's mediocre acting and the terrible CGI. Andrews just does everything better in my opinion. Yes, but also you do have to... I try not to judge the movies based on the time period. You know what I mean? I try not to judge it based on the time period. His movie came out, Spider-Man 2 came out in 2004, whereas The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is 2014. Graphics and everything were just better. Visuals were just better. Visual effects were just better. So I try not to judge the movies based off of that. I try to judge it. The story of Spider-Man 2 for me is better than the story for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So that's just kind of where I'm at. But I agree with you, Rolly. The rankings I think are a little bit the rankings are a bit different, but we'll see that eventually. Andrew Garfield is an amazing actor, and his Spider-Man is the epiphany of Spider-Man. Agree. Mark Webb's choices on having his Peter done was semi-questionable, but at the end of the day, it's a multiversal movie. Tobey is the epiphany of Peter Parker. Agree. Now for Tom Holland, he's slightly mid. Everything in it is mid! But having him start off as Iron Man Jr. was a horrible choice. We're going to get to that. He didn't need a father figure / mentor. Spidey never really had a mentor. I'm going to get to that. He gave no notice until they asked where he was, LMFAO. No, yeah, I know. It's crazy. I'm going to get to that stuff, Glacy. But yes, I agree. Tobey is the epiphany of Peter. Andrew is the epiphany of Spider-Man. Tom is is kind of the good connection of both. I'm gonna get to this. Okay, I'm gonna get to that stuff. That other stuff you mentioned. Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. B tier. Spider-Man No Way Home is a B tier movie for me. Exactly. I agree with you, Glacy. Spider-Man Homecoming. Sorry, not No Way Home. Spider-Man Homecoming, B tier. Spider-Man Homecoming is a B tier movie for me because... Gotta leave, Blake? Alright, brother. See you, man. Thanks for stopping in, dude. Thanks for the resub, dude. Thanks for the 9-month resub. I appreciate the hell out of you, bro. Thanks, man. We'll see you around, okay? Hey, message me, dude. I want to know what you're doing and what you're up to. Love you, brother. Spider-Man Homecoming is B tier for me because... exactly what Glacier said in his chat. Raleigh, do you think Homecoming deserves to be lower or higher? I'm curious. But I put it right in the middle. It's kind of middle tier for me. And I think the reason why, it's a great movie. Fun, funny, entertaining. The high school depiction is perfect. I cannot stand. Yeah, Homecoming. I meant No Way Home. I accidentally said No Way Home, but Homecoming, not No Way Home. I accidentally said No Way Home. Homecoming is B tier for me because it's fun, entertaining, acting is great, the story is okay, the story's all right. The Vulture is a good villain. High school is a perfect depiction of high school. God, it was exactly like how I remembered it. Ooh. But Homecoming deserves B tier, and I think my biggest gripe with it is I hate that he is Iron Man Jr. I hate it. I hate how he is Iron Man Jr. Because that's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man is meant to do things on his own, and they really tried to do it on their own, but the fact that he's constantly reaching out for connection or for help, that's just not who Spider-Man is. That's just not who Spider-Man is. And that I don't know if I don't know. I think and I do think there's a reason they did it. I'm going to get to that. When we get to No Way Home, I'm going to get to that. But I think the him being Iron Man Jr. constantly reaching out for like validation is, I don't know. It's just not, it just bothered me because he's supposed to be Spider-Man. And I think they really tried to make him Iron Man Jr. And he really does kind of become or feel the effect of being Spider-Man at the end of that movie when the building collapses on him and he pushes himself out like, come on, Spider-Man. Like that was when he first, each Spider-Man had their Spider-Man moment, and his was the building falling on him. And it was really good. So it deserves B tier. It's middle of the road. It's definitely middle of the road, but it's not better than these three. And it's damn near even with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But that's where I got Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Far From Home. C tier. Spider-Man Far From Home is a C tier movie because he's still Iron Man Jr. and man, they really push the Iron Man Jr., giving him the glasses, the whole someone needs to be the next Iron Man, and he really lives up to it, and he's trying to be Iron Man, and the plane scene where he's doing that, and Happy's looking at him. I don't like them making him, I did not like, they just pushed the envelope more about he's Iron Man Jr. It's like, no, he's not Iron Man Jr., he's supposed to be Spider-Man. And then they give him the mentor again in the movie with not only Mysterio being his mentor until he's revealed to be the bad guy, but Nick Fury's there to help mentor him. We find out it's not really Nick Fury, but still though, he's guided in his movies. He's not supposed to be guided. He's Spider-Man. He's supposed to be on his own. The whole point of him is it's pretty much Spider-Man versus everybody. And he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And over the 3 movies, Tom Holland Spider-Man had little to no loss. Not that loss. Exactly, Rolly. I'm going to get to that again. Hold that thought. Spider-Man is meant to be a solo hero learning how to work with others for the MCU Spidey. They did it backwards, which didn't work at first, but after No Way Home, it's someone made up for it. Yes, I'm going to get to that. Hold those thoughts. You guys are getting ahead of me. But yes, he's not alone in his movies, and it's just, that's kind of like why I have Far From Home C tier. And I also think the story of Far From Home is worse than Homecoming, because one, he's not in New York. They do it overseas, and I kind of miss the New York aspect because that's Spider-Man. Yeah. That's where I'm at. This is why Tom Spider-Man is not my favorite Spider-Man yet. You know what I mean? But he eventually could be. But this is why his movies are down here. I like all the other Spider-Man movies minus Spider-Man 3 better. But this is where I have his movies. Okay. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Give me a sec. Hello? Hello? What the frick? Oh, there it is. Okay. And we'll make that color. All right. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is an S tier movie, ladies and gentlemen. S plus tier movie, sorry. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, S plus. S plus. S plus. No shot, Glacius. Really? Oh, it was so good. I thought they did. I think this movie is going to be the jumping off point for how they want to do Miles. I just thought this was perfect. I thought the fact that it was Miles separated. In all actuality, I would not include it in a list of Spider-Man movies because it's not like the Peter Parker movies. And I would also probably not include Venom and stuff like that either. But it was so good. I could rewatch Into the Spider-Verse. Viral! What's up, Viral? Welcome back, man. Good to see you. Good to see you, man. How have you been? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Into the Spider-Verse just was such a good... I have zero negatives with Into the Spider-Verse. I don't have any negative about that movie. I have no negatives. No negatives. Glacier, I want to know why it's... Animation. Oh, okay, that's fair. The music. I love the music. The music was perfect for a Miles movie. That was Miles. Character designs for the movie. Okay. I loved the animation and I loved the character designs. So we're just flipped on that. So I can get where you're at. Those, for crying out loud. I love the animation. I love the character designs for this movie. I love the music. I love that it was Miles. I thought it was just fantastic. Right. No, I've seen Into the Spider-Verse. I think I saw it twice in theaters, and I've watched it, I think probably upwards of 10 times outside of the theater.
UURR.
Yes. Thank you for the 10 biddies, Claudio, man. Thank you guys so much. Okay. Venom. Compared to these movies, the two Venom movies. Now, I want to make these rankings this tier list very clear to you guys. I don't dislike any of these movies. I like these movies. I don't dislike any of them. Venom is a C tier movie. The first Venom is a C tier movie for me. I just thought it was kind of slow. I enjoyed it. I didn't think the acting was all that great. I don't know, I just didn't think it was... I thought it was a good movie. It was a fun movie. But compared to these other ones... No. I can't put it up here with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I do not like Venom as much as The Amazing Spider-Man 2 or Homecoming. I don't. I like it about as much as I like Far From Home. That's where I have it. Again, your guys' tier list might be different than mine. I feel you. But Venom, to me, I don't have as much fun or enjoyment because they're the negatives. I have... Right, but it's a lot of these movies are ranked where nostalgia goes. But also I'm ranking them in terms of how much fun I have with the movies. You know what I mean? Like Venom is not as much fun. I love Tom Hardy and I love his Venom, but the movie just to me is not as fun. I don't have as much fun watching Venom as I do watching all these other movies above it. You know what I mean? It's not a movie I want to go, yeah, I want to sit down and watch Venom. Like I don't get that. Far From Home was close to the worst Spider-Man movie, man. It was just, I just don't know the decision. I don't understand the decisions they made with one not being in New York, and I don't know. Does Fox still own Spider-Man? Sony does, not Fox. Fox is the X-Men, but not anymore. Marvel owns all the X-Men and Ghost Rider and Fantastic Four. Those were all owned by Fox. Marvel owns them again. They bought out Fox. Disney bought out Fox. Sony reached a deal with Marvel. So Sony still owns the right to Spider-Man, but Marvel is allowed to make their movies. Sony just makes the money off the solo Spider-Man movies. But Marvel is allowed to use Spider-Man in their other movies, and they keep the profits. So Marvel's allowed to use Spider-Man in, like, Captain America Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War. They're allowed to use him, but a solo Spider-Man movie is made by Marvel, and the profits go to Sony. I'm hoping. The other ones, Homecoming and Far From Home, are not on Disney Plus. So we'll see what happens with that. But they haven't reached a deal for their movies to go on Disney Plus yet. But no, they won't go on Disney Plus. I don't know when they will, but I'm hoping they reach a deal soon to put that up there. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. Why is Bully Maguire so low? Because the movie is not a good movie. I enjoy the movie. I like all the Spider-Man movies, but compared to all these other ones, it is worse. It's a worse. The villains suck. The way they portrayed Toby was terrible. The only good thing about this movie was, one, Bully Maguire, which is a meme, and two, the black suit. Yes. Venom, Let There Be Carnage is C tier. Venom D tier. See, I like the reason why I have both Venom movies is because I enjoyed watching both of these movies better than Spider-Man 3. So Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Exactly. I feel like there should have been way more in it, but I mean, you hate the game, but it's fun. It is fun to play. I just suck at it. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and the first Venom. Like, I thought the first Venom is better, but because Carnage is in the second one, it evens it out. I just love Carnage. Yes, Venom, Let There Be Carnage should have been rated R, should have been longer. I thought because Carnage was in it, bumps it up to C tier. I enjoy watching both of the Venom movies better than Spider-Man 3, which is why I have it at C tier. That's the only reason I have it at C tier. And finally, I'm going to preface this last ranking. If you guys don't want No Way Home spoiled for you, if you have not seen it, mute the stream now. Because I'm going to talk spoilers to explain some things. Okay? If you have not seen it and you do not want it spoiled, mute the stream. If you don't care or it's already been spoiled for you or you've already seen it, you're fine. But mute the stream right now if you don't want it spoiled for you. Spider-Man No Way Home is an S+ tier movie. And I will explain why. For me, again, might be different for you guys. But Spider-Man No Way Home is an S+ tier Spider-Man movie for me. Okay? Now, here is my explanation. Yo, by the way, I don't know if Mav is still in here. Glacy, can we get a shout? Glacy or Coach, can we get a shout out for Mav? Mav L. So, my explanation. The nostalgia I felt watching this movie was crazy. Crazy. I cried 3-4 times watching this movie. Okay? The best part of this movie was Andrew Garfield. And I think when the best part of the movie can make you... I've seen it 3 times now. I have seen it 3 times. To me, it is my favorite Spider-Man movie. I have said in the past it's my favorite Marvel movie, but I don't know if I want to say that yet. I want to watch all the other Marvel movies again first and then watch this one last to kind of have my full rankings. But this movie is, as of right now, it's my favorite Spider-Man movie, and I don't think that'll change. what this movie did was replace the mentor role that Tom had in the last two movies. Yeah, I feel that. It's just to me, I don't know. God, it's so hard to explain. I get goosebumps talking about it. Doctor Strange, yes, was in the movie, but he was not a mentor role at all. Like, he actually, like, goes at him, but then when they fight, he gets, like, Strange isn't even in the movie for the majority of the movie. Spider-Man locks him up in the Grand Canyon in his webs. So he's not even a part of the movie, the latter half of the movie, until the ending. But Andrew and Toby come in, and they kind of play that mentor role, but they're actually there to emotionally help him through what he's going through. And this is going to go back to what Glacy and Rowley mentioned earlier. The biggest downfall that Tom's Spider-Man has had, he hasn't had the emotional turmoil yet. Like, he hasn't been torn apart. He hasn't been torn down. We never got his backstory. We never got his origin story. And to me, exactly. And I'll get to that. I will get to that. So to me, Spider-Man Tom really came into his own in this movie because he finally had that death. And to us, I'm going to be honest with you guys, we might not even know if he had an Uncle Ben. We don't even know if he had an Uncle Ben. Because he loses Aunt May. Aunt May hits him with great power comes there must also come great responsibility, which is the exact line from the comics. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. And then Aunt May dies. They never officially made that announcement, Glacius, but we don't know if there was an Uncle Ben. We don't know if there was an Uncle Ben. That it's hinted that he didn't have an Uncle Ben and that Aunt May served the role of Uncle Ben for Peter. So Peter didn't have an origin story in the movie. Think about it. All three of Tom Holland's movies are his origin story, guys. We cut out the being bit by the spider, but Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, that's his origin story. Because at the end, we'll get to the meat and potatoes here in a minute, but they just made her younger each movie because Toby was each Spider-Man got younger, basically. I think the problem was they casted the Aunt Mays for each actor as their age group, and then, like, Marissa Tomei is 50-something years old, and Tom Holland is 25, so it would be about the right age. And he's playing a 17-year-old, so it's about the right age, 15, 16-year-old. But to me, his origin story, yeah, they just kind of messed with they tweaked it a little bit. So instead of having an Uncle Ben, he had an Aunt May who served as the death that he has and builds up. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. He gets the dark side, where he almost kills Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin in the end of the movie. And Toby snaps him out of it and says, no, I've gone through this. And we know Andrew's gone through it because Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, he says it on the rooftop. He says, I hit a dark patch. And I stopped pulling my punches. I personally think Andrew Garfield is going to be in Morbius because I think the wall mural with Spider-Man with murderer spray painted across it is a hint that Andrew Garfield is the Spider-Man from Morbius' universe. I think the delay is because they're putting Andrew Garfield in that movie. The Andrew Garfield saving MJ, redeeming himself for not being able to save Gwen, perfect. It was a perfect scene. I cried. I cried. I don't have one negative part, and I was watching a video. Actually, my only negative part was I think the biggest plot hole was that Electro came through when they said everyone that came through knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and everyone's like, Electro didn't know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Well, remember when we see him? I saw a video that said when he shows up, he says, I was downloading data. I was uploading information and data perhaps he uploaded something that gave away that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, or that announced that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. And maybe that's how he knows. Maybe he doesn't know he knows, but maybe he knew. And yeah, right. But no, I think it was just perfect. All three movies were his origin story, and I think they actually make the other. I think it actually makes the other two movies better. But I still can't get over the fact that the other two movies, were just. I don't like the mentorship. I don't like that he wasn't really Spider-Man yet. Exactly. That's the video I saw, is that uploading himself into the data grid, into the network, is he's able to find out somehow. Nix. Sorry if you can hear my cat. She's meowing pretty loudly. But the ending of that movie, when everyone forgets who he is. Oh my God. Him and Zendaya, I hope they stay together forever and have little Spidey children and just do their movies together forever. Do Spider-Man movies forever. They are so real to me. And the last time I felt that was Emma and Andrew. They're so real to me. And when she knew, when she finally realized that she lost who he was and forgot who he was, when she was going to not remember him, it was devastating. Same with Ned, man. It was just devastating. Ned finding out that he's magic, great. Toby was great. Andrew was great. To me, the greatest scene for me in all of Marvel is when the three are having their conversation, like, how is this helping? Like the Avengers, and they're talking, okay, Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 2, Peter 3, Peter 3, like, putting the masks on, jumping out, swinging together, Toby jumping off the ledge going, woo! Like, that was the best scene I've ever seen in any Marvel movie ever, dude. It was, oh my God, it was fantastic. It might be a multiversal Vulture, or Vulture got sucked over to that universe. Or Vulture from the MCU got sucked over into that universe. Maybe it was a doorway, and a door's open both ways. So, yeah, Toby taking up the mentorship role for the other two was the best part. And I think the difference between him being the mentor was that the others, he didn't, tell them what to do. He was just there for them, What was my favorite? My favorite scene, I think the best scene in all of Marvel movie history, is when they are three having their conversation, and he's like, not to brag, but I was in the Avengers. The Avengers, what is that? And it's like a super team where Earth's Mightiest says, how is this helping? And Peter 1, Peter 2, Peter 2, Peter 3, Peter 3! And then they put the masks on, and they jump off the ledge, and they swing together, and Toby jumps out and goes, woo! And they just, perfect scene. It's the greatest scene in all of Marvel, in my opinion. An Avenger, that's great. What is that? Is that a band? Were you in a band? I love that. It's the best scene. The little brother dynamic they have mid-battle. It's just the best. It's so Spider-Man, man. I loved it. And, God, I just don't know. It was just so perfect. And, the ending, like I said, they all forget who he is. And he finally, this is why it was an origin story. He loses his Aunt May, his Uncle Ben character, who's been with him for all of it. He loses Happy. Happy doesn't remember who he is. They all still know Spider-Man, but they don't know who Peter Parker is, so they don't know who Spider-Man is. And the back meme. Oh, you want me to crack your back? Yeah, it would be great. And it was just fantastic. But he loses everyone. MJ still knows who she loves deep down, who her love is, because she still wears the Black Dahlia necklace that he got her in Far From Home. She still wears it. She still knows who he is, and he's going to tell her he loves her to try and crack her back into it. And the web shooter thing also, oh my God, I don't mean to branch over that, but perfect. But then she brushes her hair back, and he sees the Band-Aid, and he's about to tell her, and he goes, and he decides not to do it. He decides not to tell her because he doesn't want to hurt her anymore. And I think obviously he's going to drag her back in, and he's going to tell her at some point. She's going to remember. And you can't do that? Huh. How do you do that? I just think it was, and he's finally alone. To keep her safe, he's alone, and he decides not to tell her. But she knows. It's like you can tell she kind of knows. And he leaves, and he gets his apartment, and I'm sorry, but that apartment is it's such a Peter Parker apartment. I think they are also setting up Ned to be the Hobgoblin. I think we're going to get like a Doctor Strange TV show at some point where he trains Ned or something like that. But I don't know. I think, and then he creates his own suit. And someone did a video. People are saying the only reason he has to get a new suit is because the Stark tech doesn't recognize him anymore because there's no more Peter Parker, which is also devastating to think about. That's so sad that Stark tech doesn't remember who he is anymore, so he's not really even connected to Stark anymore. So the Stark tech doesn't remember him, so he has to create his own suit, and he creates a suit based off of the other Spidey suits. And he does his thing, and he jumps out, and it's so shiny, and it looks so good, it looks so comic accurate, and he swings around through New York, and he's finally alone. He's finally Spider-Man. He's just Spider-Man. He doesn't have fancy gadgets and tools. He's finally Spider-Man, and we're finally going to see his Spider-Man for the next 3 movies, like him being Spider-Man. And I think by the end of those, we're going to connect back in. But no, I think we finally got our Spider-Man, and that's why it's S+ tier, because it was the culmination of Tom Holland's origin story. Mixed it up a little bit, but to me, it was the perfect MCU Spider-Man origin story. Ned is a personal preference. I have some friends who don't like Ned at all. But I love Ned. Because I had a lot of friends that remind me of Ned. But no, Ned's a personal preference character. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong to say you're not the only one. But no, I think it's just the perfect. It was the perfect Spider-Man movie. The villains were great. Alfred Molina did great. Willem Dafoe was amazing. Toby, Andrew, Tom. Oh my God, Tom. We finally got to see. I want this movie to be nominated for Best Picture. Like, that's just my opinion. It was so good. It took its time at the same time as just going at it. Like when Aunt May dies, you don't get a second to breathe, and then boom, Andrew and Toby are in a comedic scene. Crawl around. It was just perfect. But I don't know, man. That's just kind of how I feel. I think this is the perfect Spider-Man tier list. But yeah, it's just, and I can't wait for college Peter. That's the tier list. I think it's a good tier list. That's a good tier list, guys. Save and download. Download the image. I'll put it on my desktop. Boop. I'm gonna make this a picture for Twitter. We're gonna make it a thumbnail for YouTube. Boom. That's the Revenex Spider-Man tier list, guys. Revenex Spider-Man tier list. Woo. But yeah. What do you guys think? Let me know. If you guys want to send me your tier list your rankings on Discord, please join the Discord. If someone wants to link the Discord in chat, please join the Discord, the Cantina X Discord. We would love to have you guys join. But yeah, no, honestly, let me know. Send me your rankings. We're going to do a rankings at some point. Honestly, the next stream we do, we might rank the Spider-Man movies. I might show you guys my ranking. Thank you, Glacy. Guys, join the Discord, please. But yeah, no, that's the Reven X Spider-Man rankings, guys. So yes.